So I just recently started and actually finished this game called The Tourist. I know it's been out for about a year now, and it had launched on the Nintendo Switch, and I had never heard of it until it came to Xbox Game Pass, a month or so ago. Can't remember the exact date, but I had downloaded it just, as like on a whim because it was something that looked interesting, and of course it's on Game Pass, so you're not really taking any chances. You can delete it if you don't like it. When I did finally fire it up, I was immediately drawn into this game. As you can see by the screenshots I have, which are all like right at the beginning of the game, I didn't want to spoil any of the cool places you get to visit or anything like that. But you can see like why somebody would be drawn into this game. It's got a beautiful graphical style, very colorful. The lighting is really cool. It looks like obviously it's blocky, kind of like Lego or something like that. But it's I don't know exactly what the technical term is for it, but it looks like something that's real and is small, but you're zoomed in on, you're up close to it. And when you're playing around, when you're playing the game, you definitely feel like that, especially when you kind of move in and out with the camera and it does like it's a focus blur and stuff like that. It really does feel like you're looking down at like an animated toy set, and you're like zoomed in on it, like looking at it up close. I think that's a really cool perspective to play a game from. I would actually like to see official Lego games use this kind of perspective, and just more games in general. I think there was a game that's coming out. I'm still waiting for it. It's supposed to be coming to Xbox called Tunic, and it was like a Zelda-like adventure, but had this same kind of not this graphical design, but this kind of perspective. And I was really looking forward to that. Anyways, so The Tourist is a game by Shin Multimedia GmbH. I believe that's who publishes it. Oh, it's also who develops it. Yeah, July 29th is apparently when it came out for Xbox, and then at some point later, I think it hit Game Pass. I don't know if it launched on there. But the official description says, "You are just arriving at the Monument Islands. Want to go swimming, or rather take a dive into the deep sea? Or do you want to visit the amusement arcade, do some shopping, dance at the beach? Fancy some surfing? Or will you talk with the strange old tourist and listen what he has to say about these ancient, mysterious monuments?" And of course, that's what you end up doing. The game is really, like I said, really delightful in the visuals and the music, and the little sound effects sound very retro video game. Everything about it feels old but new school. Really cool little platforming, puzzle solving, but some of it is actually fairly complex. I mean, this game is about 10 hours long, which is longer than a lot of more expensive games and very well promoted games that get put out there. So it's about 10 hours if you 100% all the little tasks and solve everything, which really is totally worth it because it's very fun. Even some of the more challenging things, there's like a surfing challenge where you have to do a 540 spin trick off the top of the wave. It's a bit challenging, but like once you figure it out, you're like, oh, okay, and then you do it and you're like, okay, that feels good to have done that. It only has 10 achievements, and they're basically all tied to completing the major tasks that get you to 100% on your to-do list. Meanwhile, you keep trying to solve the mystery of these monuments that are on all these little tourist islands. And it's really cool puzzle solving. There's usually 3 or 4 like stages to each puzzle. It doesn't hold your hand, it doesn't really explain anything to you. Like, you go into it not really knowing what you're supposed to do and having to figure it out, like true puzzling. And then once you do, again, there's that rewarding feeling that, hey, I solved this on my own. I didn't have a tutorial show me. It didn't hold my hand through this. I just had to figure it out. So while the game on the surface feels casual, and in a lot of ways it is very casual. You can turn this game on for 15-20 minutes, be like, ah, cool, that was fun. I did a couple things, collected some coins, finished a task, I'm done. it's a little bit more complex than your average little casual puzzle platformer. And some of the puzzles are pretty rewarding feeling when you do finish it. You're like, wow, I actually figured that out, and that felt good. But yeah, just overall a very charming, fun little adventure. I was kind of disappointed to actually finish it, but at the same time, not to spoil anything, but it is hinted at that there could be more. I'm hoping this game has been successful enough through sales and Game Pass playership that the studio actually considers making a sequel like they've hinted at. I would love to see it continue. It's very it's very worthwhile, I guess. Like just give it a try. I know there's limited time out there, and there's all kinds of big games and things people are interested in. This is a fun little diversion, but once you go play it and you get into it, I think you'll feel the same way if you really put the time into it. It's very enjoyable, very fun. It's a good way to kind of step away from some of the more serious stuff you're doing in gaming and of course life, and it's cute. So check out The Touryst. It's spelled Touryst. Like I said, I believe it's also on Nintendo Switch. I don't know if it's on PlayStation or not, but it's on PC, it's on Xbox, and it is on Xbox Game Pass. You can buy it for $15.99 if you have Game Pass, like if you want to own it. If you don't have Game Pass and you want to buy it, it's $19.99, but I'm telling you, it's totally worth it. It's approximately 9 to 10 hours if you do all the little things on the to-do list. And you really should, because they're all fun. There's even like this one thing where this kid challenges you to beat his arcade scores, and there's 3 separate games in the arcade that are all like retro styled. One's like a retro style like pole position type racer. One is like a brick buster. Oh crap, I forget what those are called. But and then the other one is like almost like a joust style game. They're fairly simple, but to get those scores to beat the guy, not very easy. You need a little bit of practice. You gotta do it a few times. So that's a whole other little diversion within the game. So check out The Touryst. Like I said, Xbox Game Pass. If you don't have it, just get Game Pass and you get access to all this really cool stuff. But if you don't want Game Pass, I think it's definitely worth $20. Like, I would pay that for it having played it. But that's the beauty of Game Pass, is I didn't have to pay for it separately, and now I know that it would have been worth it. It's kind of interesting. And yeah, very, very, very fun little game. Go give it a try.